Hey guys, so you can see that it is winter and I've been thinking about doing some camping, but I'm not really much of a winter camping kind of person. I don't mind the cold during the day, but when I'm asleep, I don't really like to be cold. And I don't have a winter tent. I don't have a winter sleeping bag. The sleeping bag I have is really thin. It's probably rated, I don't even think it's rated. It's probably like good for like 50, 60 degrees. But it's going to be above zero tonight. And I thought maybe I'd try sleeping in the summer tent with the summer sleeping bag with an electric blanket. So I got a little power pack and electric blanket, and I'm going to see if that works. But first we got to start by clearing a spot for the tent. Well, that ought to do that. I'll get the tent, we'll get it set up, and we'll see how this thing works. Okay, so hopefully it's not too windy because I don't know how I'm supposed to stake it down. Maybe the weight of me and the contents of the tent will hold it down if it gets windy. It's not windy at all right now. Hopefully it stays that way tonight. I'm going to throw the little shield over the top to get a little extra protection because I think it might actually snow a little bit tonight. It's not supposed to snow a lot, but we might get a little bit. It's been a long time since I've used this tent, so I'm not sure that that's exactly how it goes, and the hooks that you're supposed to actually hook that thing to are buried in the snow, so I just kind of latched it on. So I'm hoping it doesn't get too windy because that will likely parachute up if it is. So I'll get the sleeping bag and everything, and we'll get this loaded up and get it set. So I got this portable solar generator. I just left it in the box. It was easier to carry out here that way. My sleeping bag, which I'll show you, is not very, it's not very thick. It's just a regular sleeping bag. I mean, this thing's really thin. I think it's good. I've used it at like 60 degrees before, and it was completely fine, but I don't know if it'd be good much cooler than that. But that's what this electric blanket is for, which with that solar power thing, I'm thinking it'll be warm enough. I'm not sure. And then normally I'd use an air mattress, but I don't know how air mattresses hold up in the cold. So this is like a 1/2-inch exercise mat. Get the snow off that. Probably should take my boots off being in here, but I'm not going to worry about it. And then lay the sleeping bag out. Okay. Open the sleeping bag up and roll this thing up inside it. Like that. And just zip that up inside there. Okay, it says 93% left on it. I actually had read online, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it said if you want these power pack things to if you want them to last longer in the cold, you should keep them insulated. So when I come back out, I mean, it's a small one, but I don't want it inside the sleeping bag with me. So when I come back out, I might bring a blanket or something to wrap over this, just to keep it a little insulated, just to make sure I get all the way through the night. But I'm just going to check this and make sure it's working. The ground's definitely cold sitting on this thing. My butt is freezing. Okay, well, it's heating up. I'm going to head back in the house, and I'll be back out later once it's time for bed, and we'll test this thing out. Okay, so the wind has picked up quite a bit, but it's time to try this thing out. That covering that covers the mesh up there, that's blowing all over the place. And I'm pretty sure the only thing that's going to keep this thing in place tonight, since it's not staked down, is the weight of my body. So, but the thing with the electric blanket is that it doesn't really work very well with the generator. I had it, like with the generator, it kind of works, but it doesn't really work. So because I'm basically testing this out in my backyard, I was able to just run an extension cord out here from the garage, and hopefully that works. Almost, I actually trust that a little more, because the generator, I was worried that it would, like in the middle of the night, it would just stop working and it would be cold. I mean, I could just go inside if that happened, but I really want to see if this works all night. So far, it's nice. It feels nice and cozy. I might actually be too hot. It's not too bad out right now. I don't know what it is, but it's probably, maybe the mid to upper teens right now. So it's, at least for February up here, it's pretty warm for a night, which is kind of why I chose tonight. So anyway, I got this blanket all set up to test it out, and I'll catch you guys in the morning and let you know how it worked out. That was definitely an interesting evening. That part of the tent that goes over the mesh, that's like this, that you just kind of lay on top there. The wind started kicking up, and it literally kept parachuting up and parachuting up. And then at one point, it like, the wind had gusted so hard, it like pushed it to the side, and the tent poles stayed attached to the tent, but they kind of all shifted. Well, they shifted this way, so it stayed high up where above me. And so I was like, all right, well, it's fine, it's still holding up. And then a little while later, the wind gusts again really hard, and it like, I don't even know what it did, but the tent's not staked down. I was just letting my body weight kind of hold it in place, and the whole thing collapsed. So I had to go out and fix it, and it's gusted a couple times, where even right now, I mean, you can see maybe you can't see it. The mesh is, you can totally see right through. So the covering came right off. But aside from the fact that I wasn't able to use the little power generator to do this, the electric blanket worked fine. It wasn't like below zero or anything, so I don't know how it would work when it was that cold. The hardest part was making sure I didn't let the blanket touch my face too much, because the rest of my body was completely covered. But my face, I didn't want to like get a burn or anything from it, but it works completely fine. I just have to figure out how to either get a different one that you could use that little generator with, or I don't know, because it's not like you're going to run, hundreds of, feet of, well, thousands of feet probably of extension cords out to use an electric blanket and have power. So But overall, it's worked out pretty good. Yeah, the wind's really starting to kick up again. I'm gonna get up and get this stuff put together or taken apart and put everything away before this thing really collapses down on me. It's a little colder today than it was yesterday. I mean, I can already feel it with my hands out from underneath the, even in my gloves, with my hands out from underneath the sleeping bag and the blanket. My fingers are already getting cold. And it hasn't been that long. So let's get this thing taken apart. Just not having my weight inside the tent, it's already like it's gonna blow away on me. So that adventure worked. It was successful. The electric blanket worked. I had to use power from the garage, but maybe there's a way to use it with a generator, maybe just not that blanket that I have. Maybe that one just had problems. I'll have to look into that a little more. But it definitely kept me warm. It was in the teens, so it wasn't too cold, but it definitely wasn't warm at all. It's a lot colder right now already this morning, but yeah, it works. I would try it again. I mainly wanted to do it to see if it worked with that generator so I could do hammock hitch camping over the winter, and I might have to get a different one, a different blanket. I'm gonna have to look into it. I don't know, but it was, as far as I'm concerned, it was successful. And now it's really cold out, so I'm going to haul this stuff inside. And if you guys like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.